when they see the ads, this is one of those things I'm just asking because I'm not knowledgeable. One of those things I want to know. When they see the ads, do they see the company or just the job?
They see the company.
So would they then, like, this would be me, I'd be, okay, that's the company. I'm going to go look at them, like their website and stuff like that. Do you give any advice to your clients on like, hey, this is maybe some of the things you should do on your website?
I check all the stuff before we start the campaign.
Smart
So
man.
I'll go through their social media, Glassdoor. Well, because I had a guy that came to me from a referral. So let's say I didn't put the hardest vetting on him. So I'm like, hey, this guy's a buddy of my buddy. He knows how I roll. He knows who I deal with. I'm putting this campaign on, and we're 2 weeks into it, and people are getting set, but they're just not showing. Which, I mean, if you call me and say, hey, I had a no-show today, I say, well, welcome to the roofing industry. Here's your first beer. Like, you had a no-show. It's going to happen.
Right.
But this guy had a lot of them. So I started doing more research. I looked at his website and his reviews. Guy had 2 stars on Google. Reviews like, this guy's leaving garbage and flyers all throughout the neighborhood. There's nails in my lawn. I'm like, oh,
hasn't updated his Facebook in 2 years. That type
so
of
I know that every candidate that's worth their salt is reading these reviews, and they're like, there ain't no way I'm going to this company. So that forced me to implement, whether they come from whoever, I go in and read what's online about them because this is what's going to help me recruit. If it's great, like let's say Tom Self, for instance, ProLiance, one of the most prolific company cultures I deal with. High energy.
Thank you. That's our guy.
Right?
Yeah.
Always high energy, challenging culture, unity, community stuff, reaching out, everything you can imagine in a company culture, he's got it. When I turn his ads on and people start going to his social media, piece of cake.
Yep.
It's done for me because they're like, I really want to work here. These guys are wearing face paint, they're at barbecues, they're helping out stuff in the neighborhood, they're on roofs, they're making
and the
money.
People answering the ads fit the mold, right? Like
100%.
Yeah, so
100%.
awesome.
Yeah, it's great. So that's why we don't try to use blanket 101 ad writing. We want to know as much as you want to tell us about your company and the vision that you have, so we can portray that vision for you. Because we're a third-party recruiter. And
you
brought
me so much joy today, Matt. You have no
idea.
Like,
Good deal.
You have no. Well, first off, I have people ask me all the time, like, who would you use as a recruiter and stuff like that. And I always put your name. I'm like, man, so go over there. I've heard of good things, never heard a negative thing about him. But I never know who does, right? Like, I'm not sure they engage with you, didn't engage with you. And then you tell me ProLiance today, which Tom is my longest running coaching client. I've been coaching him for almost 8 years now. So to hear that, and like, we didn't plan that or talk about that, but to hear you talk that glowingly about one of the people that we've coached, that you brought me a lot of joy today. I just want to say thank you.
And if anybody was to listen, that company listens for sure. Because I've been out to eat with Tom. I've been to his company meetings. I really got involved with the recruiting because I was literally his sole recruiter for a long time.
Right.
When I met him, he was coming out of a breakup with another recruiter that had somebody come in for a canvassing job that came in on a walker with the tennis balls.
Not good.
The canvassing job. I said, man, I got to get out of this. I can't have this anymore. And it was actually a rep from Beacon that called me and said, hey, can you please come meet with this guy, Tom Self? And I did. And he told me the story about the walker. I said, yeah, I'll take your case right now. Let's do it. And I've been recruiting for Tom for 4 years.
That's awesome. And he is, man, that dude is a bundle of energy and joy, and just to be around him. He's
for sure, 100%.
Good guy. So if you're listening to this show and you're looking for a contractor to work for in Chicago, that might be your man.
Without a doubt.
What's that?
Without a doubt, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
If I didn't do this, I'd work for Tom in a heartbeat.
So on their website, I get that they should have good reviews and stuff. That's kind of, I think, pretty common. Is there anything specific or unique that they should have on their website that would help you with your job in the recruiting side of things?
Yeah. Most of the bigger companies do it. Photos of your community outreach. You're helping, like, let's see, Legacy. I'll just pick them. Legacy Roofing. They got 6 or 7 locations. Yeah. They're doing humanitarian and philanthropy stuff on a community level, a national level, and a world level.
Mm-hmm.
So when you work for this company, you make a lot of money if you work at Legacy. You got to be really good. It's definitely very competitive. And I mean, it's one of those companies. If you want to get after it and be successful, it's a good company to work for. But to have that kind of stuff, to see 80 people packing lunches for the homeless, or here's probably the most heartfelt thing that I know about Legacy. They've got a little club or whatever that knits blankets for orphans, right? These really special blankets. Some kid, as an orphan, got a blanket from their company and was out in Colorado 18, 20 years later. Saw a job for Legacy selling roofs, applied to Legacy, and he saw the picture of them making the blankets. He's like, hey, man, I still got this blanket.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
That's crazy, right? Yeah, so I mean, it's things like that to definitely put on your website. Yeah, your OC preferred, Certainty Shingle Master. Okay, you and who else? Put some stuff on there, some feel good stuff. We sponsor a little league team. This is what we do, stuff for veterans. That stuff's what's important, because I mean, other than that, what is it? You're just punching a clock. It's another job.
Show what life looks like, not just in the act of doing what we do, but in the benefit that what we do provides to everybody else around. Do you guys hang out together? Do you go to events? Do you support the community? What do you do? Do you run races and things like that? Like, what do you do? Put that on your website.
Not to bring up ProLiance again, but look at ProLiance social media anywhere. Anywhere, Instagram, Snap, whatever. Look at it anywhere, and you'll see that's the epitome of what it should look like. Because there's not a lot of working shots, or the certainty no see stuff that people don't even really know what it is yet. There's pictures and videos of people having fun.
Yeah,
and it's like, man, this is a cool place to work, and we make money. It's a super great recruiting tool because it's honest, it's transparent, it's not made up. I've been to some of his events, and it's pretty high energy.
It is, Tom. There is no doubt about it. Right? Like it's authentic. And if you don't like high energy, and you don't like getting after it, and you don't like serving and helping your community, you're not going to be attracted to Tom.
Keep it moving. Yeah.
Yep. So this has been awesome. First off, man, like,
thank you.
First, it's just been awesome to finally talk to you. Like, we haven't had that. We've messaged a couple of times over the years, but never really like had a chance to talk with you and learn more about you. Where do you see recruiting going over the next, 5? Because you hear things, right? Like, you hear a lot of this stuff in the industry, like, oh, woe is me. There's going to be all the big equity companies are going to come in and buy up. It's all just going to be big companies, and that's what's going to happen, which I think is, I'm going to use the word garbage. And the reason I'm going to use the word garbage is because Waste Management did something similar to this 30 years ago. And there's still thousands of garbage companies out there. Yep. And I have 2 of them in my neighborhood that aren't Waste Management. So let's not make everybody like super fearful. Now, you will have to up your game. There will be large companies and things like that, but anybody that's good is going to be taken care of. There's no doubt about it. So what do you see changing in recruiting over the next 5 years, knowing those things?
Well, one of the biggest challenge in perspective that I think right now that is very skewed is that people are trying to save time, like through AI, chatbots, things like that. Recruiting is not for chatbots. Recruiting is to talk to another human being on the phone to ask questions about experiences. What's going to happen at this company here? Is there upward mobility? Is there this? Is there that? The people that still stay on the phone and engage with human beings are the people that are going to win, because 90% of people are going to do the opposite of what I do. They're going to try to automate every part of the process. Well, let's give them a DISC assessment, a sales dragon assessment, 3 other assessments. If they pass these assessments, then maybe we'll talk to them.
Right.
I'm getting on the phone, because situations happen. Like a few years ago, I had a girl apply to a roofing sales job. I call her up. Her resume is mainly CNC, drill press, stuff like that. So I can see she's a get after it girl. She's not a pretty girl. She's not afraid to get dirty. So I can say, she'll probably climb a roof. No big deal. So I call her up. Turns out she's the fiance to one of the highest grossing salesmen in Illinois, the roofing salesman. Mm-hmm. I send this girl in for an interview. The sales manager, who I hired 2 years previously as a rep, tells me he doesn't want to interview the person because they don't want to just interview warm bodies. This is what AI will do to you. This is how it will kill you. So this girl's been watching The Money Made and listening to roofing stories every day from boyfriend for the past 3 years. He doesn't want her to work at the same company, obviously, for conflict reasons. So he says, hey, apply it over here. That just happens to be one of my clients. I shoot him in there. And that comes from automating the process.
Right.
Resumes are not always where it's at. Steve Jobs' resume, fired from his own company, quit college. He quit college and fired. Who's going to call that person? I'm calling him. Because I don't know what's going on.
I don't put a lot of credence in resumes. I think it's good to have them just to see like what kind of work history somebody has, but it's not what I'm going to rely on to decide if I'm going to hire somebody. I'm going to rely on some pretty well thought out questions that identify whether this person has the talent and skill that I need to do what we do. And if they have that talent thing for me, there's motivation and drive, and they're very different things. Lots of people are motivated. They're those to buy all the silver stuff and get rich quick schemes.
Right.
Drive is a whole different thing. And so whenever I'm asking questions, interviews and stuff like that, that's the one I'm honing in on. How much drive do you really have to do this thing? Or are you just saying you will? And you can do that with some pretty strong questions. There's a really good book out there. I'll give a little fire here.
Yeah.
There's a really great book out there. It's called The Perfect Sales Force. And it has the questions that you need to ask to pull out the talents of what makes a salesperson. And it is fantastic.
Perfect Sales Force?
It's called The Perfect Sales Force by Derek Gatehouse, Gatehouse. I was referred to that book. Funny enough, I got referred to that book whenever I resigned as the director of sales for AccuLinks. I said I'd do my replacement. So I interviewed this guy. He's like, hey, have you ever heard of this book, Perfect Salesforce? I'm like, nope. He goes, you should probably read it. You hire like this. And so I went and read it. I went, dang it. I wish I knew what I was doing so I could have wrote that book. But there's 10 talents according to that book and the book is all about talent. I'd love to get with him and like write book 2 and say, hey, it's more than talent. But it's about these 10 talents that are salesperson oriented talents and how to identify them, ask questions to pull them out without the interviewee knowing what it is that you're aiming for. Cause like the worst question you ever ask somebody, are you a hard worker? Yeah, of course I am. Like nobody says, no, man, I'm not. I work like 10 hours a week. That's all I work. Nobody does that. So how to ask questions that actually pulls the talent out, right? Now, the one other thing I think that book misses is the skills, because I'll give an example. I'm looking for specific skills from a salesperson, and skills to me are things you can learn. Talent are things that are inborn. They're just who you are, right? But skill is something anybody can learn. I can teach somebody a presentation or a door knocking script. I mean, like that. I can teach that to them fast, really quickly. Usually like a door knocking script and all that good stuff, and actually making appointments within about a half a day, and a great presentation, closing deals within 3 days. So that's a fast thing to teach. That skill, if they don't lack it, I'm all good as long as they've got the talent, because I can teach them. If they lack the skill of communication, though, I can't hire them. That takes too long. It's going to take months. I can teach it to them, but it's months of learning how to communicate. So it tells me immediately I can't hire that person. Even though their talents are right, I can't hire that person because their communication is not where it needs to be. And so hiring to me has become a little bit more science than just gut instinct. And man, it has made a huge difference. I think you'll like that book. I think
I'll have that book by the end of the week.
Yeah, I think you're going to enjoy it.
Now I'm going on Amazon. Another one my wife uses is really slick. She's a great recruiter too. She's like, what's got you looking around?
Yes, that's a good one.
It's so casual and so innocuous. And the next 5 minutes, she's silent. They're just, I'm having a baby. This company is moving here. I don't want to go here. They keep making me false. She gets everything. One question. Hey, what's got you looking around? Just nice and innocent.
That's a great question.
Man, she's great with it.
Oh, here I am interrupting you again, but this is an important message you do not want to miss because it's about AI. AI in sales. Could you imagine having every sales call recorded, analyzed, tell you what's winning, share it with everybody else so they can start winning? Everybody's closing percentages go through the roof. If you haven't heard of Rilla Voice, you need to. Go check out Rilla today in the comments below.